The most dangerous decision in human history did not happen on a battlefield. It did not happen in the palace of a king. It happened in a garden, a beautiful, perfect garden. And in that moment, Adam and Eve had absolutely no idea that one small choice would change the destiny of the entire human race forever. Pause. 2 seconds. If that moment had gone differently, if that one decision had been different, the world today might look completely unrecognizable. There would be no suffering, no death, and humanity would never have been separated from its creator. But everything began with a question, a small question, and behind that question was deception. Pause. 2 seconds. This is the story of the beginning of the world, the beginning of humanity, and the moment paradise was broken. But to understand this story, we must travel back far beyond recorded history, back to a time when there's no earth, no sky, no oceans, no wind, no time, no light. There was only one presence, God. And then a voice echoed through the endless silence, a command, a divine command. And with that command, the silence was shattered. God said, "Let there be light." And in that very moment, light burst into existence, a light the universe had never known before. Darkness retreated, and the story of creation began. Pause. 2 seconds. The first day had arrived. Light separated itself from darkness. Day and night were born. Then came the second day. God stretched out the sky. A vast expanse spread above the earth, a great canopy separating the waters above from the waters below. On the third day, the earth began to take shape. Land rose out of the waters. Mountains stood tall. Valleys formed. Wide plains stretched across the land. And then, life appeared for the very first time. Green grass covered the ground. Flowers bloomed in brilliant colors. Massive trees grew, filled with fruit and fragrance. Every plant was unique. Every detail was intentional. Nature itself became a masterpiece. On the fourth day, the heavens were decorated. God placed the sun to rule the day, the moon to rule the night, and then the stars. Not just a few, but billions upon billions of stars, each one placed exactly where it belonged, like a cosmic painting across the sky. On the fifth day, the oceans came alive. Fish began to swim through the deep waters. Great whales moved through the endless seas. Above them, birds filled the skies. They soared across the heavens with freedom and beauty. Everywhere there was movement. Everywhere there was life, but creation was still not complete. Pause. 2 seconds. The sixth day was different, because on this day, something would be created that would give meaning to everything else. God formed the animals of the earth. Lions roamed the land. Elephants walked across the plains. Deer ran through forests. Every creature was perfectly designed. Every species unique. But then, God paused. It was as if something was still missing, as if creation was waiting for its final masterpiece. And then God made a decision that would define the entire story of humanity. God said, "Let us make man in our image." Pause. 2 seconds. Those words may sound simple, but their meaning was profound. Human beings would not just be another creature. Humanity would be different. Humans would carry the image of God himself. And then, God knelt down to the dust of the earth. He gathered the soil in his hands and began to shape it. Like a master artist forming his greatest creation, he formed hands, arms, a chest, a face. Every detail carefully designed. When the form was finished, a human body lay on the ground, but it was still lifeless. The garden was silent. A gentle wind moved through the air. And then God leaned down. and breathed his own breath into the man's nostrils. Pause. 2 seconds. In that moment, the man's chest rose for the first time. Life rushed into his body. His eyes opened. He took his very first breath. He looked around at the world for the first time. And that man's name was Adam. Adam was the first human being in history. Before him, no human had ever walked the earth. Before him, no human had ever breathed. As Adam stood up, he looked around in wonder. The sky above him was bright and endless. The air was fresh and pure. The land around him was breathtakingly beautiful. But God had prepared something even more special for him. God led Adam to a place unlike anywhere else on earth, a garden. But this was no ordinary garden. This was the Garden of Eden. Pause. 2 seconds. Eden was paradise. Every tree was perfect. Every flower glowed with color. Rivers flowed with crystal clear water. Birds filled the air with music. And everywhere there was peace. There was no sickness here, no pain, no death. This was the world exactly as God intended it to be.